Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. We'll give just a moment to make sure that everyone has cleared from the waiting room and is connected to audio so that they can hear us. It appears that everyone has joined and is connected. So good afternoon. This is an administrative hearing before the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing. Today is Thursday, June 6th, 2024. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. We are joined today by the Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing, Kathleen Joyce, and Director of Operations, Rebecca Fu. There's one item on this afternoon's agenda. I will read the item into the record. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the licensee, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department, and whether there are any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify. After that, I will swear in all parties, and the police report will be read into the record. The licensee or their representative will have the opportunity to make a brief statement, followed by questions from the Executive Director. All testimony will be limited to only those individuals with firsthand personal knowledge of the alleged incident. The item before the Entertainment Division this afternoon is Game On Fenway, LLC, doing business as Game On, located at 82 Lansdowne Street. Date of the incident, April 18th, 2024. Premise hosting an 18+ event without notification of the licensing division in violation of Rule F of the division's rules and regulations. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Danny, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, thank you very much. It's Dennis Quilty. My signal's indicating I'm muted, but as long as you can hear me, and I apologize, I have only phone service. I have no internet. Dennis Quilty representing the licensee with me this afternoon, Katina Koropines, who's the risk management specialist for the Lions Group, and Vinny Lombardi of the Lions Group and Game On.
Thank you, and we do see Ms. Koropines and Mr. Lombardi on the screen, and we can hear you just fine. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher.
Detective Hernandez, if needed.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, if you could please proceed with the police report.
Yes, good afternoon. I'll be reading from a Boston Police Incident Report that I wrote on 4/18/2024 at 10:45 p.m. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the licensed premise unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of Game On at 82 Lansdowne Street. This inspection came about after a local college alerted the Boston Licensing Board of an 18+ event being hosted at Game On. The local college voiced its concerns after an incident 2 weeks prior where one of their under 21-year-old students fell and sustained a head injury while inside the premise. The college went on to report that their underage students have reported being served alcohol inside Game on previous occasions. Prior to detectives' inspection, they checked with the Boston Licensing Board as to whether the licensing board had been notified of the event, and they were not. As detectives entered the bar, they observed a line of young-looking patrons that identified as under 21. Detectives spoke to the person in charge, Mr. Isaiah Moore, who was unaware of the requirement. Detectives were informed by some of the greeters at the door that they had booked the event. Mr. Moore was informed by detectives that he could not admit any under 21-year-olds, and at that time, Mr. Moore decided to shut down the event. Sergeant Detective Gallagher informed Mr. Moore that once he had cleared the premise of the under 21-year-olds, he could reopen for a regular business of 21+. As a result, what was observed, Sergeant Gallagher issued a licensed premise inspection notice number 021064 for premise hosting 18+ event without notification of the Boston Licensing Board. Mr. Isaiah Moore signed for and accepted the notice. That's all we have.
Thank you. Attorney Quilty, would you like to address the alleged incident?
If I may, I just have one question for Sergeant Detective Gallagher, if I may,
You may.
and that is, sir, your inspection notice indicates that management cooperated, so when you brought this to their attention, they were fully cooperative at that time?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
Mhm.
Like me to address the incident,
Yes.
Green, thank you. And I neglected to say hello to the executive director and Attorney Green and Ms. Fu. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to do this by phone. The situation here, Director, is that the staff, the event staff affiliated with Game On booked this event without having any discussions whatsoever with the Game On leadership and the Game On management, etc. They had absolutely no idea this event had been booked under the auspices of Game On and the Lions Group by the marketing people without any discussion whatsoever with management staff, Katina, Mr. Lombardi, or anyone. Not an excuse. It happened. This is not a policy of the establishment or the Lions Group, rather. And it's a horrible, horrible mistake, which we're very apologetic for. We did not know literally until the detective came. I mean, apparently the college reached out to the BPD. We did not know that these flyers were distributed around campus. Apparently, what led to the group, converging on the establishment. We have subsequently reached out ourselves to the college in question, Dean of Student Affairs, and to other colleges and universities in an attempt to notify them as to who the personnel are, if there's any such incident like this in the future. They were quite pleased that we did reach out in this manner and took the responsibility for the situation. We want to make it extremely clear, the division, that this is not our policy. We do not undertake an 18+ events, but everybody up and down the entire organization was aware of this and familiar with this. Apparently, at this particular event, it was done through event staffing. And again, the day-to-day operational people, management, control personnel had no idea thing had been approved and allowed. As we come before you today, the only thing we can do is apologize and tell you that this is a long-term business in the city of Boston. We out control and operate too many establishments to be doing foolish things like this, and you can be assured that it will never happen again. This was a total mistake, and it's just a total mistake by these marketing people, and the fact that they basically hid it from the management staff is just unacceptable, and multiple people have been disciplined for this breach of protocol. So again, we apologize, and you can take it on the word of everyone involved here from the licensee point of view that this will never happen again, and complete controls have been put in place with persons being told they must deal with Mr. Lombardi, Ms. Corpines, et cetera, before any such event like this even considered. Again, our apologies, but we literally have nothing other than to say we have reached out to the school and other schools in an attempt to get in front of this, an attempt to say, here, these are the people, if you ever see this again, please contact one of us. We're the people that run the business, and we will make sure that it doesn't occur. So again, we can only offer our apologies. I don't know, Ms. Corpines or Mr. Lombardi, anything else to offer?
I think Dennis, sorry, Vinny. I think Dennis, you've spoken for us and conveyed our sentiments. Again, going forward, when events are being booked, if anything looks questionable, it needs to be brought to my attention or Vinnie Lombardi, the Vice President of Operations, attention. We had a wonderful conversation with the dean from BC, introduced ourselves, talked a little bit about the policies and what we bring, what each of us represents from the Lions Group, and that going forward, if they anything like this, similar to this particular situation, shows up being advertised on their campuses, they have all our contact information to call us, and we will put a stop to it. We don't believe that it will happen again because we have disciplined members of the events team as well as members of the management team at Game On. But yes, going forward, we have now an open line of communication with the dean from BC. We're creating other open lines with some of the other colleges like BU and Northeastern, so that if they see anything like this being advertised on their campuses, that they can reach out to us first and we can get a handle on it and put a stop to it.
And I would just add, Madam Director, that had that relationship existed and had the Dean of Students reached out to the licensee, the event would have been canceled before it ever occurred. And I think the good news going forward is that having those relationships in place will ensure that the college knows who to deal with at the location and other locations that Lions manages and operates, so that these things would be cut off before they ever occurred. Hopefully that's the best news of all.
Thank you.
And I would like to apologize as well too, and I'm still upset about it today, and the teams know this, and I have to take responsibility for the company, and I do have better protocols in place. It is good to have the open line of communication, but it's not who we are. I've been with the company for 23 years, and I'm just embarrassed, and and I'm sorry, and like I said, this is not going to happen again.
Thank you very much. We'll see if there are any questions. Executive Director Joyce, any questions for the licensee?
Thanks. Thank you all for your explanation and taking responsibility for it. I do have a couple of questions. So the event staff that you're referring to, who do they report to? Management at Game On, management at Lions Group? How does it work?
Right. Well, when they book, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Go ahead.
Oh, when they book, when each venue has their own set of events people, it's a big part of business for our industry in general, and they should be meeting with the operators on like once a week, to go over all the CEOs, go over the parties, and understand the whole thing. We also have a director in the Lions Group that oversees them. They should have been more diligent of going into it. She should have been more diligent. So she will now and then, so there are layers of it, And as far as the marketing of this party, I mean, we have a.
Sorry, so it sounds like the events team reports to a director in the Lions Group who oversees those sorts of bookings. Okay. And then who reviews the bookings now? Is it
the director oversees it, and then the GMs of the locations are involved because they understand it's the situation we have.
Okay.
They're responsible. So.
And in the at the beginning, someone mentioned Isaiah Moore. He was the event staff.
He's a security. He runs the security team.
Okay. He owns a security company, so he's not really an employee directly of the Lions.
No, he's an employee. He runs the security team at Game On.
Okay.
So he's like the head security at Game On. Apologize.
All right. So the manager here at Game On, how long has the manager been there? And
Ricky has been there. I mean, he's been with Game On for a long time. He started as a bartender, probably 14 years. He's new into the management role. And I think again that's probably why he fell through the cracks. He's new. His director at the time was away. That would be Joe Hicks. It's just, I'm still not sure how this happened.
That's fine.
or what
I'm just
happened.
trying to get an idea. So Ricky, who's the manager that was on that night, how many hours a week is he there?
He's probably there 50 hours a week.
Okay. And then we have as the manager of record here, Ryan Jones. Is Ryan still the manager of record?
No,
not.
Ryan Jones is not the manager of record, unfortunately. And again, Ricky has been, as Vinny said, Ricky has been with Game On in different levels for about 14 years. And initially we've had a lot of trouble trying to keep I've made several attempts in over the years to amend the managers of records, and every time I try to do that, the person that's going to be it ends up either leaving or getting terminated or what. So then we have to wait until someone else takes his place. I was prepared to submit manager of record changes, having Ricky be listed both on the liquor license and entertainment license, and I was ready to do that, and then this happened, and technically I'm not sure exactly what we are going to do with Ricky going forward.
Okay.
We need to, this situation is a very serious situation. And again, as Dennis has stated and Vinny has stated, and I am restating that the events team, the management team, all had a serious, have been reprimanded seriously for everything, for this whole thing. And before we go forward in making someone a manager of record, we need to actually do some more due diligence and make sure that these people are actually able to take on the seriousness of that role.
And actually, sorry, just in reviewing your licenses, they currently don't match. Jason Nicholson is listed right now as the manager of record under your liquor license, and Ryan Jones is on the entertainment license. So
Yes. So
we'll
right.
do both.
Need to be, yes, I understand.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Danny. No, the information you've shared today is very helpful. I can see that you've taken intermediate measures to correct it, but I'm going to see if Rebecca has any other questions before we move on.
I do not have any other questions. Thank you.
Anything further, Director Joyce?
Nothing. Just wanted to see if any of the licensed premise unit has anything they want to add.
Ma'am, they were very cooperative that night. They ended the event right away. They were professional. I don't know if Ricky was there that night. We did not see him. Isaiah Moore was our point of contact that night. It was an off night, and I'm sure it won't happen again.
There are no further questions, then that will draw close to this item. The executive director will take this matter under advisement and will issue a written decision. That being the only item on the agenda for this afternoon, that will adjourn this hearing. So thank you all for being with us and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Director. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.